From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we have a great show today. We will be talking about a new way to watch over-the-air television with a device called Tableau. I just absolutely love this device, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about it. The world's first counterveillance software company, Snoopwall, will be joining us. The CEO of MDH Technologies, Matthew Hunn, will be here to talk about build a suite cloud solutions, and you can also turn any screen into a touch screen with the Z-Mart frame. And at the end of the show, we will be talking to Miss Metaverse Katie Aquino, and she'll be reporting to us about the Maker Faire that was held over the weekend at the New York Hall of Science, and I am sure she'll be bringing up the iPhone 6 as well. At the control panel, producer extraordinaire, Mr. Jim Walsh.
Hello.
Hey, you and I are still struggling with our voices a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, I had this cough. I had I had a bad cold in late spring. I got over it, but the cough lingered through the summer. I got some meds for it. The cough went away. Now it's back again.
Unreal.
Not the cold, just the cough.
Right. And first of all, I want to thank Nick Ressler and Amy LaValle, for being here last week. Really appreciate that. I can't imagine if somebody came up to me like 15 minutes before a radio show and said, hey, will you step in and do this for me? Because I can't talk, and that's exactly what they did. And I know it had to be extremely difficult because they had no idea what they had in the store in front of them. But
well, if you couldn't talk, how did you tell them? Do you use sign language?
Sign language, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I can type, I can tweet, I can still do that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of tough last week. I thought I was going to be able to medicate enough to actually speak for a while, but that was not the case. So. Anyway, the Tableau, they might call it Tableau as well. I forgot to ask them how they pronounce it, but it's Tablo.
Maybe it's Tableau.
Maybe
or
so.
Tableau.
Yeah, and if you go to Tableau TV, TABLOTV.com, you can actually see this device. It's a box, Jim, and you set it up in your house, and you hook up one HD antenna to it. So you run to a superstore, pick up a $25 or a $50 HDA antenna, like the old rabbit ears type of deal,
Right.
Okay, and this plugs into this device, and it scans the over-the-air channels. So, and every town has these, ABC, NBC, Fox, all these things are still being broadcast. Yeah, and, locally, I think we picked up 13 of them, on mine, so PBS was on there 4 times, and I know in bigger markets, like Katie, for example, I'm sure, it'd be interesting to see how many channels they have in New York City that's over the air,
Yeah.
But anyway, so it brings all this stuff in, and then from there, it uses the Wi-Fi in your house to push it out. Okay?
Okay.
So you have this one device, and you can watch up to 4 devices at that time with over-the-air television. So in our house, after I set this up, we had some guests, and they were trying it out over the weekend. And a couple of them had Apple tablets, and they were actually watching over-the-air TV on their tablets. Watching the local news, watching whatever. I was upstairs watching on my TV through a Roku. They have a Roku channel, so you can sync it to that. If you have any TV that has Wi-Fi to it already, you can probably get the Tableau interface right to it. So I was very impressed with this. And the fact that it's one antenna and it was pushed into 4 devices at the same time, I thought was absolutely fantastic. And the quality, I have to say, and I find this hard to believe, but it was actually better than like through cable or through dish or whatever. I was looking into this. I guess the over-the-air stuff is uncompressed, and I didn't know that. I don't know if you knew that or not. But,
I had no idea.
So the quality of the television, what we were watching on the screen just seemed to be, I don't know what it was. It seemed to be a little brighter, a little livelier, or whatever. So I was pretty impressed with that. And then the other thing is you can hook up a hard drive to this device. Okay?
All right.
And then it becomes like a DVR. So what happens is on the screen, it populates with all these different thumbnails of the guy that you have going on, and you can just tap them and say, hey, I want to record Star Trek next week. Yeah. And you tap that, and it'll show Star Trek, and then it'll ask you if you want to record all episodes of it. So it'll actually record everything. And all you have to do is just tap it once and tell it that you want to do it, and all the episodes that you want to record then will be on this hard drive.
So it's like having cable without having cable.
Yeah, it's crazy cool, and I highly recommend this device. TabloTV.com is where you can go take a look at it for more information. Very, very cool device, and I can't say enough good things about it. I'm going to report on it more as I learn more about it, because there's still a lot that I haven't utilized it with. I know that you can share that stream away from your home as well. So if you have an Android or an iPad or what have you, you can actually, watch that content away from your house too.
Wow.
So, which I think is pretty cool. But I think you have to subscribe to that. I think it's like $5 a month or whatever to subscribe to that. But
I can live with that.
Yeah, but it's but in house it's all free. Just buy the device and watch it. It's just I can't say enough good things about it. It's been a long time since I've reviewed a device and had such a glowing review about it. Now, the two issues that I did have with it are, tuning in the HD antenna. I went and bought two of them. I was cheap the first time. I went and bought a $15 HD TV or antenna, just thinking that I live in town, wouldn't be an issue getting the signals.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Really?
Yes. I would imagine maybe the towers are a little farther outside of the area. So as a result, it's probably good to spend a little bit of money, get a better antenna.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, I guess. And the second time around, that's exactly what it was.
Well, the towers are line of sight. I mean, some parts of town, you can look down toward St. George's and actually see the towers.
Sure. So I'm not sure.
You would think, oh, yeah, line of sight. Boom, there you go.
Yep, I'm not sure what the deal was with that. But so there was that. And then I have an older Roku that wouldn't bring the app in. So, but other than that, I mean, I have 4 Rokus in my house, so it wasn't a big deal at all. I just noticed that on the older one, it didn't work. If you have a newer one or a newer Apple TV or a Droid set-top box, whatever, you'll have no problem bringing this in. But yes, so overall, though, I will give this thing a glowing review.
Okay.
Tablo TV. How would you pronounce it? Tablo.
I'd say Tableau.
Tableau, okay. So go check it out, TabloTV.com. And I just think it's an absolutely wonderful thing. So anyway, they should pay me for these endorsements. I'm just saying, but I absolutely love this device, so go check it out. After the break, everybody, we will be talking to a representative from Snoop Wall about the world's first countervalence software. So come on back.
Right now, $59.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank all of our listeners across the country and around the world who follow us on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. Of course, we're now on Tuned In. And we have our own app, Radio Pup. So all kinds of ways you can follow us on the Tech Ranch. Joining us on the phone, Gary with Snoop Wall. Gary, how you doing?
Great, Marlo. Thanks for having me on the Tech Ranch. I really appreciate it.
Hey, we're excited to have you on here as well. We had a little, I wasn't sure if we were going to pull this off or not. We had a little phone issue there. And you were on a landline first, right?
Seems like my cell phone is better than landline today.
That's crazy. It really is. So, but anyway, we're excited to have you on as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Snoop Wall?
Well, I started Snoop Wall to solve one of the biggest problems that we all have. Most people don't even know they have it. That is that most of the apps on our smartphones are spying on us. They're eavesdropping on us. They're stealing our identities.
Okay. So what does Snoop Wall do to stop that from happening?
So we've done a few things now, and I kind of like the CEO and his new vice president at Symantec, who went into the Wall Street Journal saying antivirus doesn't work anymore, and we've got to do something new. So they're being honest. If you install antivirus on your phone or you have a firewall, most of the new hackers or the cyber criminals, they spy on your webcam, they spy on your microphone, they read your contact list, they geolocate you. So Snoop Wall we have some free tools for your listeners. The first one is Privacy App, that can scan your phone or even your Windows laptop or desktop and show you that, one of the flashlights you installed might be spying on you, or one of the weather apps is always running in the background trying to collect and send information over the internet to another country, for example.
And, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Gary, but, viruses nowadays are not like they are, especially on devices, aren't like they are on computers where they're malicious, where they're trying to destroy your hard drive or whatever. They're more about collecting information, and they don't want to be discovered, so it's not going to set off, a lot of the virus protection that you have on your device right now simply because it's not malicious, correct?
Exactly. What Google and Apple and Microsoft have done is they agree that if you write an app for them and you disclose your privacy settings, that app can make it into their online stores. Take the number one flashlight in the Play Store, right?
Okay.
The developer for that number one flashlight, 200 million downloads.
Wow.
Okay, that developer, and number two, over 100 million downloads. The number two flashlight got sued by the FTC.
Okay.
The number one flashlight is still being downloaded every day as number one. And it does so many things. It even looks to see if you have pictures on your SD card in your phone. It looks for mass storage. It looks for pictures. It looks for videos. And it wants to grab them and send them over the internet. When I clicked on the developer link in the Play Store to see who developed this nasty application, it takes you to a drive-by malware website that tries to install malware on your computer.
Unreal. Yeah, they're very, very tricky about this stuff. And the one thing you always have to, and this is a thing I always think about, is that if you're getting something for free, the people who are building these things really aren't building them for free. It has to be monetized somehow or another. And to me, this is probably one of the biggest ways they can do this is by harvesting information. And of course, they take and sell it, correct?
Exactly. And the mobile banking market is a mess. We've tested so many banking apps, and you can spy on, eavesdrop, and steal someone's passcode, get into their bank account, copy their check, get an SMS message that the bank sent to a user. You can get so much information, and you would think that mobile banking would be secure. And there's just two stats I wanted to give you quickly. One, there's a website called privacyrights.org, privacyrights.org. Guess how many identities have been lost or stolen listed in that website?
I couldn't even venture a guess. Everybody in the United States?
Everybody more than once. 930 million records lost or stolen, and there's 300-plus million people living in America.
Unbelievable.
Then the second thing is that $500 billion $500 billion has been lost in banking fraud, and most of us are moving to mobile banking because the banks want us to. You don't have to go stand in line. You don't have to meet the teller. You can do it all on your phone.
You're right. So they look at it as a cost savings measure, but in reality, it's actually costing. It's not maybe not costing the bank so much as costing you and I instead because of the fraud that's going on.
Exactly. So that's why we developed something, and we're not even charging consumers. We're charging banks. We've made an engine called Privacy Shield that we want to be embedded in all the bank apps, and we've already got it embedded in over 100 credit union applications. So maybe if you use a credit union, you're a little more secure if you've got our engine built into that app.
Fantastic, Gary. That's great. So, and of course, for you and I, we can use Snoopwall. And so how do we go about getting that?
So you can go on to the Google Play Store. We're going to have it on Microsoft Store shortly. And you can go there and just type in Snoopwall, and you'll see three different programs, the Privacy app, the Privacy Shield, and one that I don't want to announce on the air yet. It's a big surprise, but some people will find it. We plan to announce it next week to deal with all this identity theft through other apps that you think you should trust.
Okay.
So there's really cool stuff out there. Just look for Snoopwall.
Great. And when you make that announcement, Gary, why don't you shoot me an email with that, too, and I'll put that on the air next week, too, or the following week, whenever you get that done.
Will do. Sounds great.
Okay. All right, everybody, check it out. Snoopwall. Go to your Play Store and get this thing, and probably save you a lot of grief in the future. All right. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Okay.
We didn't mean to cut Gary off there, but I think we did. So
That's scary stuff, though.
it really
Wow.
is. And
1984.
that's kind of why I brought Gary online. I know I scare people a lot on the show here, but
And we don't mean to. I
no.
mean, we're not about creating scary scenarios where they don't exist.
Right. But it is true that, viruses have changed a lot, and a lot of people don't realize that, they think that because they have a handheld device that they're free of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that they've mutated a little bit. What they do instead is they say, it's like Gary was talking about there, hey, get that free download for that flashlight, so you can turn your cell phone or your smartphone into a flashlight.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. I've used one a lot myself,
Good thing you have an emergency, whatever.
Absolutely, but you don't realize that by getting this thing for free, you have to start thinking about how in the world are they paying for this, and how they're paying for it is
You
by
mean they're not just
harvesting.
doing it out of the goodness of their hearts?
Not usually, no. Some people, yes, but not usually. One of the things I always look at is, do they have a pay for app? So
A what?
An app that you would pay for. So you can get the free one that's kind of a scaled down version. So like Flashlight one, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, scaled down version. And then they have one for maybe $9.99 that has all these bells and whistles with it. And they try to coax you into buying buying their app by giving you the free one. And that's okay. I absolutely love that because
It's like a free sample. If you like this, get the fancy version.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. Not
But-
a bait and switch.
But if they don't have that always sets up a red flag for me, because if the app is totally free, where are they making their money? So that means that they're probably harvesting the information they can gather off of your phone and reselling it to somebody else.
Look for the strings attached.
Yes, absolutely. And they'll be hidden. I mean, that's the whole point, is that they hide this stuff in there so you have no idea what's going on. And some of these things are so tricky that, they can turn your camera on. If you can believe this, they'll turn the camera right on your phone so that they can spy on you with what you're doing. Jim's throwing his phone out the window as we speak.
Yeah.
But so you just have to be careful about the devices, and you have to, or that, the apps that you put on, and you want to make sure that you're getting apps from reputable companies.
Sure.
And it doesn't hurt to just, before you put something on your phone, go to their website and check them out. My goodness. How difficult is that sometimes? Just like he was talking about, Gary, there, the one app that he was going to put on his phone, he went to their website, took him right to a malware website.
Now, are you generally safe if you stick to the iStore and the other shopping venues like that?
Well, you see, this is the tricky thing, Jim, and most people would say yes to that.
Well, you would assume.
Right.
Yes.
But this is how it works, and the only reason I know this is because we've gone through this. Once you're accepted as a developer, you pretty much have carte blanche to do whatever you want then. So you can bring out 2 apps, 8 apps, 20 apps, and Google, Apple, they're not really going to check into you so much because you went through the process of becoming a developer.
You went through it once, and
right,
they say, well,
and
okay.
and you have an app that they approved. And the app was a good app, but these people who want to scam you realize this, so they'll develop something that is an okay app, has no malicious intent whatsoever, just to get approved.
Yeah.
And then they start pumping other stuff out. Facebook is notorious for this as well.
Oh,
They'll approve something on Facebook, whatever the type of game is or what have you.
Yeah.
And then they will turn around, these developers, and put malicious stuff into the Facebook feed as well.
Gotcha.
So that's how that works. So you have to be somewhat careful.
It's not necessarily safe just because you get
It
it
is
from,
not safe.
the catalog. Okay.
The better route to go probably is to just pick reputable companies.
Yeah.
Make sure that the company has something that you feel is reputable. And, just ask around. Maybe, if you're really unsure, give them a call. See if somebody picks up the phone on the other side. You'd be surprised when these companies don't have somebody answering the phone. So
or maybe it's like that commercial where the Russian guy picks up.
Yes,
Hello,
yes.
I'm Debbie.
That is exactly right, and that's exactly how it goes. So, be extra vigilant, when you're putting apps, and I will say, and I watch my grandkids a lot, and they go crazy. In fact, they're more interested in what kind of free games they can find than they are in playing the games themselves. They load up their tablets full of stuff, so they can do that. So, Where are we at for break time here? Are we getting close?
We got about
another
30
minute?
seconds.
Oh, okay. Very
In fact,
good.
I'm going to start the music right
All
about
right,
now.
we'll start the music so we can start dancing a little bit. And after the break,
traveling music there.
That's
Yeah.
right. After the break, everybody, Matthew Hunn, CEO and founder of MDH Technologies, and we'll be talking about how to build Suite Cloud app or solutions. And Suite would be SUITE. Sweet. So come on back.
Right now, 59.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Supertalk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And speaking of apps, everybody, over the weekend I thought was a pretty cool app there, Mr. Jim, called Overswipe. Are you familiar with Overswipe? OVERSWIPE, Overswipe. Have you ever given your phone to somebody and they're looking at your photos and they just keep moving through them? Yeah. And maybe there's some photos that maybe you don't want them to see.
Well, not in my case, but I mean, most of my photos are pictures of my cats.
Sure. Okay, so yeah. But, people, I would say almost everybody has photos maybe they don't want to share with everybody, whatever it is. So, but Overswipe stops that from happening, actually.
Really?
You can actually just put the app on and you show the photos you want, not the ones you don't. And it's very, very simple. You just open the app to display the photos from your camera roll. You select the ones you want, and you can share them with the person. Hit display, and you only swipe through those selected photos. The others are private. Simple as that. There's you can actually put a passcode on there to restrict people from accessing your photos. So if you're interested in maybe a little security for your photos on your phone,
right?
Just go to Overswipe, and it's in your Play Store right now. So go check it out on the phone. We have Matthew Hunn. Matthew is the CEO and founder of MDH Technologies. Matthew, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show this afternoon. I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, we are excited to have you on as well, Matthew. We talk a lot about cloud on here, and I think a lot of people, it's kind of one of those buzzwords that's been around for a couple of years now, of course. But to kind of get started here, Matthew, why don't you tell everybody what the cloud is?
Well, there's probably a lot of good ways to explain what the cloud is. In general, when you're talking about cloud computing, you're talking about primarily from a user perspective, the ability to access your information on multiple devices at multiple locations, basically always on, always accessible. That's accomplished through, bunches of different technologies, and what you use is kind of customized as to what your needs would be, and that's where we come in with our build-to-suit cloud solution. Okay.
And, since you brought us right there, why don't you tell us a little bit about what MDH Technologies is? And then, now the note I have actually is built to suite. Was it supposed to be built to suit?
Yes, but
okay.
But there's some truth to that, and with the respect that you've got a virtual suite within the cloud.
Gotcha. That's kind of what I was thinking, actually, too. But talk a little bit about MDH Technologies, where you guys are based out of, and then we'll get into a little bit about the cloud solutions that you perform.
Certainly. So MDH Technologies has been in business for just about 10 years, and I came from a military background and have experience, working in, some really sophisticated networks and on some really neat technologies. So after exiting the military, I managed this IT department and learned quite a bit about the real estate industry from a gentleman named Brian Armitage, and later on from a gentleman named Tony Fridovich with Remax Paramount Properties. I managed IT for these guys and had the ability to, basically I was able to learn quite a bit about real estate, different aspects of it from each person.
Okay.
But I learned about something called build to suit. So when a property owner has a piece of property, they may agree to build something customized for a tenant.
Sure.
And so that's sort of what we're trying to do with our cloud solutions.
Okay. And I think you're being a little modest when you were talking about your military career. You actually are a former Marine.
That's correct. I am, Arlo.
And you looks like you have actually worked on a lot of sophisticated networks. And I'm going to guess you were involved in some security clearance type of issues, which brings, and that's what I like about you is that you have that background and you understand the security that's needed to protect people's privacy and business, data and that type of thing. So I love that you have that background, and I think that really plays well with what you're doing now. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of cloud solutions that you can offer companies.
Well, certainly. So all of these things are based on what the needs are. And that's actually the first step is to do a needs assessment. We'll discuss with potential clients, how they're operating now, discuss what may be changed or improved on those practices, and then implement a solution. Of course, there's some testing and some things in there in between as well. So there are server-based solutions, including physical servers, virtual servers, and it's important to note that any time we sell a server-based solution in our cloud, we're going to give you everything that we think is necessary to run properly. So we don't want to just sell you some underpowered virtual machine or something like this. What you're getting is a fully managed solution, 100% support. We're going to monitor the thing for free, and we're going to back it up for free as well. So we're not going to nickel and dime you on things. So we've got these server-based solutions. We've got storage-based solutions. There are other buzzwords, synchronization and things like this. So, people have the ability to ability to email and to filter out spam and so on and so forth. There are, like you were touching on the security issues, there's various security options we can build out with these cloud solutions, including two-factor authentication and other security technologies.
Very, very cool. So, when we talk a lot about cloud solutions, Matthew, we're referring to online storage, and that's just not the case here, is it? I mean, you're talking about virtual servers, and so what can an office do? Let's say they were going to move to some type of virtual server. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this question, I guess, but what would that allow that office to perform now that maybe they're not being able to do now?
Okay, so it's not necessarily so much about new functionality, although there's certainly something to be gained from being in the cloud or in a data center rather than, for example, an on-premise solution.
Okay,
so you're going to get redundancies of much of the infrastructure. So that means more of a high availability type of experience. The office is going to have lower overhead costs, right? Many times the power requirements are less because you're running, no servers.
Right.
Or any of those types of things. So it's really more about being more efficient, being cost-effective, and sort of the management aspect is what's really gained from the cloud, because you're taking all of that administration and management of the technology and outsourcing that to some professionals who can manage it very efficiently for you.
So is there anything that a cloud-based server solution couldn't handle that an on-premise one can?
I haven't run into one yet. So
that would be my answer too, I guess. That's why I was bringing that up. And
sure.
Probably the biggest thing with that too, Matthew, in my opinion anyway, is that you were talking about costs. One of the reasons that, my company, for example, doesn't have a server anymore is why do we have to go through the cost of putting a server in, or upgrading it every 2 to 3 years and worrying about the hard drives failing and all this other stuff? When you have a virtual server, all of that goes away.
That's correct. And depending upon, how the cloud infrastructure is built out, you've got redundancy, like I was saying, all kinds of things on a physical and virtual layer, your hard drives, okay, your internet connection, your power redundancy, and all of these things. So you're getting more for less money. You touched on a really important factor that we discuss with customers all the time, and that's the hardware cost. So servers, a server is an expensive item.
It is, yes.
For any small business. And if you can take that money and spend it somewhere else to build your business, the cloud's a good option for you, especially when it's time for your next migration.
Yep, exactly.
And the migrations are simplified as well, Marlo, as you probably know. So rather than going from an on-premise physical server to another on-premise physical server, the cloud is a little bit more elastic, a little bit more forgiving, and a little bit more giving as well.
Yep, exactly. So how do we find you?
Well, our website, mdhtech.com, or our direct number in Dallas is 972-800-9011. And email and links, and we're on all the social networks as well.
Okay, and of course, you're already on the techranch.com, so for those of you who are driving right now, don't pull over, just go to the techranch.com, and you can find out more about Matt's company. And if you want to know more about, virtualization, about, using cloud services or whatever, I would highly recommend, even if you don't use Matthew, I'm betting, Matt, that you'd be willing to talk to people and at least point them in the right direction.
That's absolutely right. It's free to make a phone call.
Yep. So give them a call if you're curious about how to, use some of these cloud services or what have you. So, Matthew, it's been a pleasure having you on the Tech Ranch.
Thanks, Marlo. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great day, sir.
Yeah, you too. And thank you for your service to our country as well, Matthew. So after the break, everybody, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino, will be joining us with her update from Maker Faire. So come on back.
Right now, 66.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And on the phone, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino. Katie, how you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing excellent as well. Excited to have you on the show, and I'm not sure. Let's just get the announcement out of the way right away. How about that?
That sounds awesome.
Okay. So anyway, you've been on. You've been on a couple times now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Katie, you're actually going to be a regular on the Tech Ranch. So you'll be appearing. What do we decide? Every other week?
Yes, every other week I'll be joining you guys to talk about the latest tech innovations and much more.
Very, very excited for that. So we're excited to have you on the team. And I think you're going to be partnering up with me down at CES this year too, correct?
Yes, I'm super excited for CES this year. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think I have a feeling you and I are going to be extremely busy this year down there. So it should be a fun time, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely. And it was a nice taste of CES. This weekend we had the Maker Faire here in New York, and it was a blast.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what Maker Faire is?
All right, so Maker Faire kind of pays homage to the Old World's Fair, and it was a really great event. It was 2 days here over in Queens, and they had a huge event that was both indoors and outdoors, and huge companies like Intel and LG all came and set up their booths, and you could learn about 3D printing. You could learn about some of the new technologies that are coming out soon, and I saw so many cool, amazing things, like a multi-copter. He didn't even know what to call it. It was a quadcopter, but it's not a quadcopter because it had 16 blades on it, and it was amazing. I mean, this drone could actually carry 100 pounds, which is awesome. So cool.
Unreal. So how big was this thing?
It was really big. I would say it was about 3.5 feet in diameter.
So did it have some type of carrying basket on the bottom that you could put stuff into it? How were they doing that?
Yes, there were attachments. There's ways you can attach whatever you need to it, and the creators, I was able to speak with them, and they had some really great, ideas for how they'll be using this in the future. And I immediately thought about, 9/11 and having this kind of technology could have saved so many lives.
Yeah.
Because it was, if we had that in New York during that time, oh, wow. But in the future now we'll have this technology where if there's search and rescue missions or there's some kind of a emergency, these drones could, carry up to 100 pounds. And in the future they'll carry more. They could carry much more, and it's going to relieve the need for, sending people in, instead of, and we'll have, these robots or drones to go in instead of people getting hurt.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So what else did you see? Did you I'm curious to see if there was anybody actually making something at Maker Faire.
Yes, there was all kinds of 3D printers and 3D prints that were going on while we were there. And what was really cool too was I actually met an organization that was they're called Enable, and their website is enablingthefuture.org. And what they do is they provide 3D printers and open source software to villages around the globe. So you can basically 3D print your own prosthetic hand or whatever you need in a matter of hours. And for the cost of, it's very, very cheap, a few cents for each prosthetic hand or leg.
And the website is enablingthefuture.org.
Right, it's enablingthefuture.org.
Okay, I'll post that on the Tech Ranch, everybody, so you can check that out. That's very, very cool. What other cool things did you see there?
Oh, there were so many great things. There is a guy named Kalahi. He was really cool. He was like the real Iron Man. He actually he told me he had a dream. Now, this guy, he had these bionic boots, and he was there representing his bionic boots that he made. They're these Iron Man-looking boots that go over your shoes just as you would walk, going anywhere. And you could slip them on right over your shoes, and you could walk around, and they make you, maybe 2 feet taller than you would be normally.
Okay.
But what's really incredible is they make you run superhuman speeds.
Seriously?
And it was really cool, yes. And he actually told me he had a dream when he was 12 years old about the bionic boot, and he knew it was his destiny to make these boots, and he did it. And it was one of the coolest things I saw at the fair because he was running so fast. It was incredible.
So you actually seen him run with these?
He was running because it was an indoor and an outdoor event. Mostly outdoor was where all the vendors were, and they had these huge attractions. Like they had, you would love this, Marlo. They had a competition called Game of Drones.
You're right. Why was I not there? Yes. Wow.
It was really cool.
So getting back to the boots. So how fast was he able to run?
I forget the specs on it exactly. He has his content on YouTube, and I'll be sending everything over to you so you can post it along with pictures. So, but it was, just watching it, he looked like he was running like 15 miles an hour. It was really, really fast. I don't know, maybe faster, but.
So is this like an assisted type of thing so that you wouldn't tire as quickly either? If you were sprinting at 15 miles an hour, which is, I think, about as fast as any human being can actually well, I guess you can go a little faster than that, but you can't sustain that for a very long period of time, of course. Would this allow you to do that speed for extended periods of time?
Yes, I definitely believe it's built for endurance too. It was pretty interesting. It's almost like springs that are built into the shoes. They kind of remind me of like those old moon boots that came out in the 90s.
Sure.
So you can just bounce around, but these are for running, not just for jumping up and down. But it was definitely really incredible, and I look forward to these kind of boots coming out to the market because I'd love to buy them. So
did it come with its own like type of background music going on too, or?
No, he didn't have.
I'm just kidding.
He had this really cool like exoskeleton suit on that was
okay.
He had, like with the back and it lit up. He looked like Iron Man. It was really cool, and he had his whole story and everything built into the suit was a little slot where he could fit his iPad, and on the iPad was his story with everything. So it was pretty neat. Interesting.
Yeah, get those specs over to me. Jim's excited about wearing the boots already. You can see it. He's just going to use them to commute to work. I wonder how they'd work in I wonder how they'd work in 2-foot snow.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We're gonna run out of time here, and I know you have so much more to tell us, so keep going.
All right, definitely. One of the really cool things, I mean, this is a real family event, so it was so great to see so many families turn out for the event. And I thought it was really cool, too, that there was a couple of keynotes that were about Raspberry Pi and open source softwares and applications. And there were so many kids. I mean, the line just to get in to watch this keynote was probably like 300 people in this line. It just wrapped around the whole building. It was amazing. And it was just to watch, to hear what's going to come out in the next year, concerning, these open source programs. And I was able to meet a couple of vendors that made some really cool toys for kids to learn how to, do programming and things like that. So, and one specifically is called Play Eye, and they made these little robots called Bo and Yana. And there's an app that you can use on an iPad, and the kids can basically learn with basic programming skills. And based off of what they program, the robots will move. They could play an xylophone, and it's really cute.
Very, very cool. So, well, I hate to take you away from Maker Faire, but I know you need to talk about the iPhone 6. So,
oh yes, I'm so excited! There's so many great specs that came out with the iPhone 6. I'm really looking forward to it.
So you actually watched the announcement, and you haven't actually got in line and get one yet, or?
No, I haven't, not yet.
Okay.
Because like many of us, we all wait for upgrades depending on our service, and I have to wait till October 4th, and I'm like, really? Do I have to wait that long?
Okay.
I'm super excited, but I definitely want the iWatch. I mean, the Apple Watch.
Yep.
I'm calling it the iWatch because I was so hopeful to be called that.
I call it that all the time, too. In fact, I have a hard time actually saying Apple Watch for whatever reason. They've actually trained us to say I all the time in front of their products.
Yes, they do. It's so funny. A lot of people still are calling it, and I just did it. So, but yes, back to the watch. I'm more excited about the Apple Watch than I am actually about the iPhone 6. Although the iPhone 6, it's so great because being a filmmaker and seeing that everything's going to be, there's so many more things you can do with the iPhone 6, like shooting in super slow mo, and also the resolution is that of what we would use when we're with any kind of videos that we'd be editing. So that's definitely really great.
So do you fall into the iPhoneography realm? I mean, do you use your iPhone a lot for photography and for video?
I do.
Okay.
There's a lot of great add-ons that you can use, and you can even find a lot of these on Amazon. And you could put like a fisheye lens on your iPhone,
right.
And there's a lot of really great things you can do with it. But because I also shoot with SLR cameras, I'll kind of use both, and it's a really great backup in case you need it.
Okay.
Which is great.
Okay. Very interesting. So you can't get one till October 4th. Are you going to be able to survive that long?
I really don't know. I almost broke a couple days ago. I was thinking about just going down there. I'm probably going to end up getting it sooner, to be honest. And I'm excited about it. Definitely the Apple Watch. They said the Apple Watch isn't coming out till 2015.
Right. Unless you get
way too long.
Unless you get the version that's actually made out of an apple. I don't know if you've seen that making its way around on the internet, but actually somebody carved out a watch out of an apple, and that's the new Apple Watch. But I thought it was clever,